Men. What are creepy things women do that usually goes unnoticed? Women stalk. They stalk like heck, but it's typically seen in a very romantic light, which I don't really have a problem with. I just wish people would acknowledge it more often because it happens a lot, and a lot of them are creepy when doing it. I've had 4 female stalkers, and 1 male, in my life. It's not cute, it's creepy and tiresome. The male ended up being a rapist, mine, which, yes, exceeds the female behavior, but any stalking is hard on a person. Calling someone to harass them for breaking up with their friend. I once broke up with a girl and her friends called to harass me, but I was such a nice guy that I just can't yell at you. When I saw who was calling, I'd answer with, "Hey, you calling cause I broke up with Melinda? I understand. Feel free to yell at me." No one yelled at me. This happened to a good buddy of mine. He was asked out by the girl in one of our classes who he barely knew and had basically never talked to. He politely declined and moved on. Didn't think much about it. She continued to post on social media for months in a very explicit manner how he missed out on her, and how she's too good for him and how he was ghosting her. I brought it up with him, and he said he didn't really care, so he let it go. But I was super P with her. Romantically accosting people on the internet is never cool. My older sister's friends would get drunk and come into my room and put on my underwear, then bragged about it to her friends at school. Also when women call me gay for not hitting on them. Physical abuse. I am 6 feet 3 inches 240, dating a girl who was half my size and would constantly strike me. Even my friends laughed about it. She ended up breaking my orbital bone and then no one found it funny. In college, a girl stalked me and did things like go into the men's bathroom just to look at me while I showered. Even though there was literal video footage, the university did absolutely nothing. Horizontal ellipsis. And a lot of my male friends tell me that I'm lucky. Dude, I had a stalker that sent threatening letters to me and crap. She was something like 102 pounds. It was still scary and I don't think anyone really took it seriously. I called the cops and they told me, basically, that I would never be able to get a restraining order and that I should get a gun and shoot her if she came on my property. This is still the main reason I own a gun. My now ex literally stalked me. I told my girl best friend about it and she's like, nah, that's not that weird. Imagine flipped roles. I've been broken up for 2 months now, after a 2-year relationship. She has driven through my apartment complex more times than I can count for absolutely no reason. The only shows she wanted to watch together were freaking crazy, like You or Dexter. Stay strapped or get clapped, my guys. I was in my early mid-20s grooving near the bar at a concert waiting for a drink. Some mildly attractive girl comes up to me and asks me to help her roll her sleeves up on her jean jacket. At the time I was quite more oblivious to signals, so I thought this is an odd request, but I obliged and went back to my headspace waiting for a drink. She immediately went aggressive toxic and said, "What are you, gay or something?" with this pee-off look on her face. I shot her back an extremely confused look considering I just helped her with something, threw a red flag on the play, received my drink, and returned to my crew. She was so upset, continuing to call after me as I boogered off and enjoyed the rest of the show. That was an eye-opener. I am female and have no freaking clue how rolling up someone's sleeves is an invitation for anything. I'm baffled at what some people consider flirtatious. Media stalking. Like stalking their ex, their crush's ex, the crush's EXS knew so. My girlfriend loves to keep me updated on my ex-girlfriend's EXS life. Why do I care? Oof. My sister does this, but she has this entirely fake Insta just to friend request ex's or ex's new GF's profile. But this fake Insta looks way too real, like she posts regularly, has highlights and does stories. It's some next level crap. You would never suspect it was her or that it's fake. So I've had very unique, long red curly hair all my life. Unfortunately for me, this meant a lot of old ladies liked it. I cannot count the amount of times an old lady went up to me and said, "OHH, I can't help myself," or something like that, and just rubbed their hands through my hair without asking me. This crap happened since I barely walk. It even happened when as a toddler kid I was extremely shy and would hide behind my mum. What pisses me off big time about this is if a guy did that to a 4-year-old girl, they'd be called a pedophile. Granted, now that I'm 21 people don't do that anymore, but it still bugs me that it happened. This happens a lot to me with my beard. I tend to take very good care of it and it's generally really soft and shiny as opposed to dry and dull. Women absolutely go crazy and grab it, run their fingers through it, do weird sexual-esque jaw cheek grabs as if they're about to kiss me. It's very disturbing. Don't touch my nice butt beard with your dirty butt hands PLZ. Girls filming stranger attractive guys in public. Clearly the stranger doesn't know that he's being filmed or that he looks like he knows and uncomfortable with it. It still gets posted online and left up as if it's not an obvious invasion of privacy. If it was the opposite, I'm sure it will be taken down. Sadly, they are often not taken down. You can easily find footage of creep recording in NSW subreddits. 1. Not taking men seriously when they deny sexual advances. For example, not in the mood or too tired, then continuing with said advances. 2. Getting angry when you aren't in the mood to have sex or don't climax during sex with them. Bonus points for homophobic insinuations that you might be gay because of this. Hasn't happened to me, but I often see women posting about how they flirt with someone that they have no interest in just because they are bored. I've seen huge pages on FB post something like, "A guy hated when you flirt with a guy when you're bored and then they start to like you." Playing with people like that is messed up. This is why men don't respond when women flirt or drop hints. Never again. It takes a lot for an attractive woman to be creepy. I remember this e-girl on Twitter did an experiment where she responded to DMs with increasingly bizarre and, at times, scary statements and the men just kept going and phased. The key point here is attractive. Attractive men can get away with a lot of crap regular Joes can't either, where it's not considered creepy, but just unique, himself, straightforward. Especially when talking to random people who are just frisky and don't give a frick about you personally. The figure me out game. They intentionally communicate poorly because they want their partner to figure out what is going on. It's downright abusive. I was that partner years ago and I'm still messed up because of it. If my fiancé is having a bad day and talking less than usual, I have to restrain myself from anxiously trying to figure out what I may have done to cause this. Oh my god, this. And getting yelled at or lashed out at because you were just trying to help or figure out what was wrong. My ex has the habit of talking like a baby and intentionally pronouncing words incorrectly like a child would. I can understand if a baby or a cute dog is in sight, but if you're cold, say that. Don't tell me you're thold. Yes, thold. I hate when waitresses touch me. Whenever I post this too, I get a torrent of replies saying that studies have proven that men are more likely to tip more if the waitress touches them. I don't care. I don't want to be touched by you. Bro, I was a server for years and I would never even think about touching a customer. WTF LOL. Obsessing over celebrities. If I talked about the girls from Blackpink the way girls talk about male pop stars, I would be called a simp or an incel. Dude, this should be way higher. It would absolutely not fly for teenage boys to be crazy over female pop stars. But when teenage girls obsess to a clearly unhealthy degree with boy bands, it's entirely normal. Equating your sex drive with your sexuality. Just because a guy isn't in the mood doesn't make him gay. Allowing and or helping their friends attempt to seduce their current man in an attempt to test his love, loyalty or their relationship. I was dating this girl who ended up faking that she would do a surprise visit to my house while I lived very far away. She texted me that she'd be there in 2 minutes and was annoyed that I was annoyed that she'd show up unannounced while she wouldn't even know if I was home or not. After I broke it off, she did it a couple times more. She convinced a friend of mine to lure me into a bar where she was so she could win me back. I come into the bar, my friend isn't there, but the girl I ended things with and eventually blocked when things went too far was there, and she went as far as blocking my path to the exit, saying that if I left she would scream that I was threatening her. I'm not saying it's all women, but I've had a few experiences like this, although they didn't go that far. Blocking my path to the exit, saying that if I left she would scream that I was threatening her. That's the kind of crap you should file a police report for. Going through personal belongings, like a phone or wallet that doesn't belong to them. Not all women, but I've seen it several times. I keep a password lock on my phone, and I'll never give out that password to anyone. Anyone who objects probably has no business using my phone, anyway. The amount of girls that like to play with my hair without permission is freaking annoying. I have really curly hair. This was mostly a problem in HS though not anymore. I saw a picture of an ex when he was in his early 20s. He had beautiful long wavy classic red hair. In every other photo, he has a baseball cap on. He said it was because women would not stop touching his hair and his mother's friends were the worst offenders. Women. The number of you with long nails that are crusty underneath is alarmingly high. I even had a former co-worker who regularly kept her nails at 3 inches length who once commented on me cleaning under my nails and remarked inquisitively as to why she always sees men cleaning under them, and that it made no sense to her. I then glanced at hers and I can only describe what I saw as an accumulation of sputum, dead skin and potato chip crumbs. Please clean under your nails. I have to clean them every night or I don't feel right. Honestly, a lot of the same things we commonly associate with creepy men. It just seems to be different when women do it. As a gay man, 2 things. 1. Women wanting to be friends with us so that they can parade us around as their gay best friend. Had a few friends pull this crap on me the moment that they start introducing me to their friends as this is my gay friend that I was telling you about. I stopped talking to them. 2. Try to turn me straight by doing things to attempt to seduce me, like WTF, I'm not interested. Also, the number of women who ask me for intimate details on my sex life and act like it's not awkward at all is insane. Does using astrology as a proxy to govern personal relationships count? It's always I just think it's fun and kind of interesting right up until the point where well obviously they're an evil person. They're a Gemini. You should have seen that. That's such a Gemini thing to say. I once declined sex from a girl I'd slept with before and as I was walking away caught a glass across the back of my head. People laughed. I laughed out of nervousness. Had that been the other way round. That's when you call the police and press assault charges. And then the room went silent. I get hit on a lot by older women and some men. I don't know why it happens to me specifically and so often but I've only ever been attracted to one of them. I'm only 18 and I feel like anyone who isn't my own age hitting on me is creepy because I don't look grown. The manipulation of social media for their own interests. I'm not talking editing photos. I'm talking manipulating guys' feelings by posting certain things to make them mad, jealous, etc. I'm talking about stalking guys on Snapchat maps and finding names of people they're with by scouring Instagram followers lists. The big one that really just weirds me out is how a lot of girls on some level view their Instagram and Snapchat profiles as tools instead of a place to keep up to date with friends. I am also completely aware that not all girls are like this. It may even be a minority of girls who are like this, but this is a view I got from my own experiences and people I grew up around. And 2. Guys do this crap too and it creeps me out just as much, if not more due to the power dynamics and potential harm that an abusive guy can do to a girl. Reminds me once I saw a girl at my school flaunting on social media how she had tricked this other guy into thinking they were gonna go on a date, when she had no intention of actually going. And she was posting about it because she thought it was funny. Being a dude who's been asked out a lot as pranks, I just felt bad for that guy. Commenting on young male popsters. The amount of middle-aged women that would talk about 16-year-old and sometimes younger guys was extremely creepy to me. Reading 50 Shades of Grey at work and to a lesser extent on the bus. It's soft P. Take that crap to your house. That is not soft P. It's very much hardcore. The entire book isn't just straight P, but it's close enough. Disrespecting your boundaries. Don't touch me, they touch you. Don't show up at my house, they show up at your house. I get the feeling that their mental monologue is that it is best for you that they act like this, that they know what's good for you better than you. Not all girls do this of course, but a significant number does. Unwanted touching. I work with a woman with fake boobs, constantly moves around too close to me and grazes me with them. I feel like my friends would call me ridiculous for saying this, but I don't care. Don't touch me with your tea. Haven't experienced it myself, but many of my friends. Girls talking with their friends about happens in bed. Why are too detailed? Some discretion would be nice. And some women also do that staring thing they don't like when guys do it to them. Come on, just come over and talk instead of talking, trying to get me to you with telepathy. I feel like women just assume men talk a lot about sex with the guys. But I don't think they get that it usually doesn't go past yes it happened or no it didn't. Hit on a man after learning he already hasn't, so super creepy and gross feeling. I'd advise women not to do that, but then I'd be helping them to hide how creepy and crappy they are. Always knew to stay the F away from women who did that. 1. In middle high school had a girl say some fricked up crap to tease me. I bet you would love to take me to prom. A-okay. That's a little weird, sarcastically teasing. I bet you would frick me the first chance you had. Alrighty. This girl's crazy. Why isn't any other woman saying something? Other women ended up saying something. Oh, I bet he would. Look how much he's blushing. This was in fricking high school on the bus. 2. Talking about sexual experiences they had with guys behind their backs. 3. Fangirling on a more extreme level. 4. In general sexual physical assault. 5. Older women talking about to younger guys as mentioned already in this thread. Anyone seen Henry Cavill on daytime TV promoting a movie or something when there's one or more women on the show as well? I feel freaking sorry for the dude. He looks so uncomfortable with the way they act. I had a girlfriend who I used to text chat with a lot, and at some point I introduced her to the chat log feature in her IM client. Whenever she had any amount of free time, she'd reread our old conversations, sometimes going back years. The creepy thing is she liked to test my responses to questions and call me out when they didn't match a chat log from 2 years before. In the space of about a month I went from loving talking to her to genuinely despising it. Every conversation felt like a cross-examination. Seems like you dodged a bullet. 2 years ago I was on an archaeological dig where one of the other students was a woman about 10 years older than me. On the first day in the field, before I even knew her name or said a word to her, she walked up to me and said, "You have really big hamstrings." At the end of each day in the field she used to walk around with her shirt off while we were packing up. The worst thing she did though was one day while I was screening, using a screen to check sand we had removed from the ground for any small artifacts we might have missed. She came right up behind me, got really close, and said, "Do you have tan lines from those shorts? I bet you could pull off something a lot shorter." Can you imagine if the roles there had been reversed? I'd be on probation if I said something like that to a woman. At night, they quietly crawl into the shower, pull off strands of long hair, and silently shove them down the drain. Then, with learned skill, sneak back into bed to become the little spoon. Man, I need to date a woman who does MMA so I can let her beat the crap out of any woman who comes to do these crap to me. Not a man, but mothers talking about how hot their teenage sons are is so creepy and uncomfortable. Like, sure, be proud of what you created and call him handsome or WE, but showing me pictures of your 16-year-old and saying isn't he hot is freaking weird. Okay, so many years ago I started a business called Party Box chauffeured party vans. The older women were always very wild, much more than the guys. They were asking for stripping in back of van, poking me or my drivers with objects, etc. I'm a woman over 40. Truth. A lot of damaged women who put all the blame on all men. Apparently everyone's ex was an abusive narcissist and therefore you are too. Lying about their age and thinking those fears make them appear young instead of desperate. The worst thing is lying about their exes in court or even just spreading really malicious rumors. They do this lying so they can play the victim in hopes that some man will rescue them. I know a lot of good women. I've come across a lot of evil women. I don't deal with this a ton personally, but I have a co-worker who seems to be a magnet for sexual harassment from tipsy middle-aged women. We're servers and the older ladies love him and they show it. A lady licked his neck one time. They'll stoke his sides and be really touchy with him. Kiss him on the cheek. Just stuff like that. He always laughs it off and I guess if he's cool with it it's nothing I need to concern myself about, but I do make a point to let him know that it's still sexual harassment even though he's a guy, and that if he gets uncomfortable with their behavior, he is more than justified in asking them to stop or getting the manager. Like, man, Don't freaking touch people. I'm cool with older ladies sidling up to me and putting a hand on my arm or slinging their arms casually over my shoulders if they're regulars and we have a good relationship and I know they're doing it in a more motherly way than out of a place of attraction. But man, do they cross the line with him. When I was a meat cutter, I came out to fill the case and this old lady grabbed my belt loop and said I found the piece of meat I want to take home. Co-workers and my meat managers all laughed. So did I, because it was pretty funny. Then I thought if I reversed the roles it would be creepy AF. Touching other people's babies. I was shopping with my wife and she had our daughter strapped to her chest. My daughter's feet were close to my wife's butt and a woman, while we were shopping, tried to tickle our daughter's feet and touched my wife's butt, accidentally. Men love babies too, but we know there is a line that shouldn't be crossed, especially because of how we're viewed as predators. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.